Sideline Sport Talk, man. A lot of news. Hater B in the building with Ricky D, as always. We had a fun weekend. It was a good weekend. It wasn't anything crazy. I think it was good to get some new outlook, I guess, on what the playoffs are gonna look like. But I don't think there were really any surprises. So we're gonna talk some football to start off for sure, obviously.
Yep.
And we're gonna see how long we go with that. We've got a couple other little tidbits for everybody. What do we got tonight, Ricky D?
Hey, yeah, our rundown for today. We're going to start off, obviously, like you said, with the NFL divisional round. We'll talk a little bit about each one of those games and some of the things that we saw in there and our thoughts on it. We'll also go ahead and talk a little bit about some of these coaching hires. We had
Oof.
several coaches that were picked up. Still some teams looking for coaches out there and still going through the interview process. Like you said, a little bit of NBA talk. Catch up with our Magic and see how they're doing. Struggling a bit right now at the moment. But
He's
and then
jumping
we
in
have
already in the chat.
oh, Bill's in there, man. Hey,
Yeah.
how about them Bucks? We'll get to those boys. We'll get to those boys, and then we'll talk a little bit some odds and ends. And we'll talk about our hashtag sideliners opinions. So make sure you
Oh
guys
yeah.
are getting those ready because
I
we
got a
want
zinger
to.
tonight. I got a zinger
Hey,
tonight, man.
okay. I'm gonna hopefully cause a little controversy with mine, and then we'll try to get everybody else involved, and hopefully you guys have something for us as well. Um, and so yeah, man, divisional round. Like you said, no real surprises as far as outcomes, but I do think that there was some interesting stuff that happened there with some key guys in the playoffs, and I think we can start off with the um, with the Bills and the Ravens.
Okay.
I
Uneventful game.
mean, yeah, I mean, I thought it had an opportunity to be kind of the game of the weekend, and it really didn't quite pan out that way. It was a little, I mean, kind of, kind of
Yeah.
blah. Um, but some good stuff has come out of that game. But I think the outcome for me, or my takeaway from it, is I think it's time for Baltimore to start thinking about potentially the quarterback situation. I know people might go crazy about that, but I just think that overall, I think if you stack the box and you make Lamar throw the ball, I think we're seeing time and time again that he struggles with it.
And I think if you look at his passing numbers from this past weekend to the weekend prior, they're almost identical. 160 yards passing and interception. Just nothing there. Low QBR. The only thing that was missing in this game from the week before was his 160 yards rushing, and I think
Yeah.
the game the game shows it. I think if they took Lamar Jackson out of the equation, they virtually could not do anything. Tyler Huntley was kind of tossed into this, and Josh Allen again. I mean, nothing fancy, didn't do anything crazy. I think we were both projecting a lot of rushing yards from the quarterbacks. That
Yeah.
didn't happen. I mean, this was just the only bright spot of the whole game. I think was Stephon Diggs having a 100-yard game with a touchdown. So
Yeah, and then that pick six, 101-yard pick six was pretty awesome to watch too. The cool thing about that, I don't know if you saw that, that was the guy that was in the combine. He did his drill. They were rolling his video around all day yesterday. He did the combine drill where he starts off on the sideline. They throw him a couple passes, and then he has to start running, kind of right across the field. And as soon as he gets going, he doesn't turn around on time, and the ball hits him square in the forehead. So from that to a pick six,
yeah,
and here's a guy that's getting clowned all day long from his combine video to a pick six that seals the game for those guys because they were driving. They were what? I think they were like on the 15 or something like that.
yeah, they were
So
close.
um, yes, for him to pick that off and take it to the house. And again, to take it to the house is pretty incredible. I mean, considering he picked it off a yard into the end zone. So,
Yeah,
kind of uneventful. As soon as Lamar went down, then you knew for sure that thing was over. Um, I guess what I can say that turned out really cool about that game is that Bills Mafia just doesn't disappoint, man.
hmm
Um, did he see the same way that they did with the Andy Dalton a couple years ago? and started donating a bunch of cash to his foundation for beating, I think, was it the Ravens that year that they beat and they knocked them out to get the Bills into the playoffs.
Yeah, it was something like 75 grand they raised this weekend or something.
Whoa, no, it's over 300
Was
now.
it?
As
Oh,
far,
okay. I
actually,
thought
I'm
it was
sorry, over.
75.
I'm sorry, it was 260 is the number that I saw.
Wow.
But still, 260K that they've raised is pretty freaking cool, man. Considering, hey, you could be a rowdy fan base and whatnot, but I guess at the end of it, they're doing a great thing for that cause. And then they have, you know, uh, it looks like the Raven fans are kind of returning the favor, and they're donating to one of the Bills charities as well. So good thing coming out of that, even though Lamar got knocked out of that game. Again, I think it's time for the Ravens to start looking at potentially a quarterback, situation there. Just because I don't think he's accurate enough. If he can't run, we see it week in and week out. When he gets stuck in the pocket, he's just not good enough with his arm. So not a big one there. So that was what got us started on Saturday. And then the game after that, we had the what do we have after that one? Was it the Green Bay and
Yeah, it was
Rams?
Green Bay and Rams game.
Which, what can you say? Aaron Rodgers, killing people.
Yeah, this was. I'd say it was tough to watch, but I actually enjoyed watching it. It was just, the big three doing their thing. Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, and they just again, 100-yard game for Aaron Jones, Aaron Rodgers with 302 touchdowns, Devontae Adams with 9 catches. It was a different team, and I think this was the outcome everybody knew was going to happen with going into this game, with a banged up Jared Goff. They had no Cooper Kupp, and Cam Akers had a good game though. I will give it to him. Cam Akers again is proven himself time and time again to be a viable option at running back.
Yeah, and their rookie wideout too. Is it Jefferson Van Jefferson? I think
yeah.
is he had himself a pretty good game too. Collectively they had the young guys do their thing, but at the end of the day, they just don't have enough firepower to compete with freaking Aaron Rodgers, who's at the line. He's about to snap the ball, and he's got his hands out there under center, and he's looking at guys smiling. And when he's smiling, you're like, oh crap, he's about to eat you alive. And he sure did, man. He was just slinging the ball left to right. Devontae Adams was a man on a mission. Jalen Ramsey had nothing for him. All he could do was cry like a baby and pout. It's funny how those guys talk a big game, and then the moments, the crap hits the fan, they start pouting around and acting like babies, and they're yelling at coaches and, all that other good stuff. So whatever, man, you got beat. So
this should have been way worse, honestly. Allen Lazard, he dropped 2 passes and probably would have had another 60 or 70 yards on the day. One of them he dropped in the end zone. Another one you could see hit him in the hands, and you could see Aaron Rodgers literally say, catch the ball. Putting it right on him. And Allen Lazard would have had a huge game had he caught those 2 passes. And he still, I think the one that he did score on was the 58-yarder, where you can literally see Rodgers on the line, look at him, and just kind of give him the old, go ahead, and just pinned it right on him.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's just, I tweeted out during the game, it's just unfair the way that Aaron Rodgers is playing right now. It's gonna make for a really, really fun, interesting matchup next weekend. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about those. But really, other than some really good, fun plays to watch, I think the outcome on both of those, obviously what we expected. I think we were both good on picks there.
Yeah.
And then moving along to yesterday, we had the Chiefs and the Browns. That game surprised me a little bit.
Yeah.
That it kind of hung out at close as long as it did, and all the way pretty much to the end. The storyline there, Patrick Mahomes got rocked. He looked, I was telling you earlier, he looked like a boxer that was trying to beat a 10 count, trying to get up.
Yeah.
It was, I was watching it, and when he got hit, I did not feel like he got clobbered hard enough to be out like that. But when he got on his feet, man, he was shaky. I mean, very visibly shaky. And yeah, it was not pretty for him. And then he kind of got his senses of him, and he was running out into the locker room. So it's gonna be an interesting follow during this week to see how he comes out of that. I think Andy Reid was trying to sell that thing after the game. They were asking him about him, and he was saying he looks all right. I mean, he's passed everything that we've done so far. Kind of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. NFL, he's good. Let him go. Definitely needs this guy there, but. I mean, the Browns, I think, have to hold their heads high, man. I mean, they played well. I think the killer there, I think you text me during the game when Higgins lost that ball going into the end zone.
Yeah.
And people have their opinions on that call, whether it should be a touchback or not. But that was the killer to me, man. They had an opportunity there. I think it was to tie it, if my memory serves me right, or to get it to like within 3. And, I mean, the momentum just completely shattered there.
Yeah, I think this was my second favorite game to watch. I think the Sunday games were definitely better than the Saturday games. The one I also texted you about was the Kelsey touchdown where he just completely folded the guy that was covering him and then ended up leaping into the end zone, landing on Mecole Hardman. And that guy is just, he is on another level when it comes to tight ends, when it comes to receivers. I mean, there's a reason he was so high in yardage this year. Him and Tyreek Hill. I mean, both of them with 8 catches, over 220 combined yards and a touchdown. I mean, right now, like you said, I think this opens some eyes to Kansas City that their team is unstoppable when they're healthy. And this kind of raised some eyebrows. Like, man, if we lose Mahomes, the pace slows down. And do they have a backup plan for him not being there with their running backs, and are they able to do anything? Darrell Williams, again, I cannot say enough about him in the postseason. End of the year, every year he shows up. This guy just grinds and grinds and grinds, average over 6 yards a carry. But on the Browns side, I mean, still they had a great game. Jarvis Landry with 7 catches. The problem with them was the little ticky tack plays. Jarvis Landry had 7 catches, but for 20 yards. I mean,
yeah.
You've got to kind of get the ball down the field a little bit. They were able to control the running game. I think Chubb and Hunt had maybe 100 yards between the two of them, and that's what ended up inevitably, I think, hurting them even with Mahomes out.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had guys, like you said, that stepped up, and Joker had some crazy catches there. I mean, his stat line isn't terribly impressive. I mean, 4 for 59, but he had some catches that you're like, holy crap, man. That's the guy that they've been looking for a while.
Yeah.
We talk about Darren Waller, all this year and stepping out and having a breakout year. I think everybody's been waiting on the Joker to have a breakout year for, last couple of years now. I would not be surprised to see that guy, step it up next year and have that breakout season. But yeah, overall, just, like you said, just made the stupid mistakes, at the wrong times. It's just, at the end of the game, you don't have Mahomes in there, and it's like 3rd and whatever it was at the end of that game, and they let Chad Henne, Chad Henne, I mean, go for like 14, 15, whatever it was, yards at the end of the game to pick up pretty much a first down. They spotted the ball a little short, and then they picked it up, with big balls Andy Reid going for it there. And
it was a great play. Yeah, it was a good call.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just you have to be able to make a play there at the end to try to get the ball back and have a shot. But I think the right team made it through anyway. I mean, would you really want to see the Browns and the Bills? I mean,
no. You might as well send the Bills to the Super Bowl if that's the case.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the right team is going to be there and, going to have a shot to still defend their title. And that should, has all the makings of what should be a hell of a game, next weekend. So, I mean, other than that, I mean, what can you say? Browns, hold your heads up high. You built on something, made the playoffs,
Great
won
season.
A game.
Yep.
Overall good season. If you can incorporate Odell back into it, you'll be right back over there. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Then the last game is the game that everybody wants to talk about. I'm sure that Bill wants to talk about. I'm sure the Buccaneers taking care of the Saints. Kind of a bittersweet game to watch as a football fan. You have the GOAT, the greatest living American, Tom Brady.
Tony Romo. Oh,
Um,
sorry.
up against Breeze. I tell you what, the first half of that game, I'm looking at it going, this game is kind of boring right now. I
Yeah.
mean, it wasn't anything great, and then all of a sudden the fireworks started happening in the second half. Um, and yeah, I mean, Tom Brady going to his 14th
Mm.
conference championship game in 21 seasons. I mean, you can say what you want about him. I mean, the guy's a beast.
I
I
mean,
mean, it
this
is what it
guy is
is.
fifth all time in playoff wins. He's won more playoff games than every team in the league other than 5 of them. That is insane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We had the stat going into it. We posted it on our Twitter at Talk Sideline on Twitter for y'all. Need to go out there and follow us. Um, Tom Brady going into it since turning 39 years old had 9 playoff victories since the age of 39, and he's 43. And Drew Brees, his full career, how many wins there, Timmy?
9.
9.
9.
I
They were
mean,
tied. And guess who's in the lead now?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was unbelievable. That stat there shows you how dominant Tom Brady has been. And for everybody that says, wants to talk about him being on a great team this year, when he was in New England, I could tell you, he didn't have the greatest teams. I mean, he had a whole heck of a lot to do with them getting to where they were going every year.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that this year for sure. So yeah, he deserves to be on a team with a hell of a lot of weapons now and to do his thing. But he went out there, he played well. I mean, Drew Brees had the 4 picks.
Three
A
picks.
tale of 3 picks, a tale of 2 guys. Brady goes for 199. Like I said, wasn't crazy. 18 of 33. But he did have the touchdowns, a couple touchdowns there. And Brees struggled through it, some tip balls and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, what'd you take away from the game?
Well, there was a lot. There's a lot to take in on a stat sheet from this game. The big thing, Michael Thomas, no catches, which was a big thing. Play of the game was definitely the Jameis Winston touchdown to Traquan Smith. And if you guys did not see that play, it was kind of a weird flea flicker kind of play. It was the same play that Chicago used against them the week before.
Same exact
Same play. Except Chicago didn't catch it. New Orleans caught it. Traquan Smith with 3 catches, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns from the University of Central Florida representing the Knights. Overall,
That's
he
right.
had the best game of any receiver in the game. But the big shout out, and I said it last week, Leonard Fournette, 107 all-purpose yards. He had a touchdown, 5 catches, 44 yards. This guy is turning into Tom Brady's bread and butter, his safety pin that he needed, and it's going to show. Scotty Miller with the 1 catch, but that catch he had was probably the best pass when it comes to skillful passes. I mean, he dropped it in between 2 guys, and there was no other place to put the ball. Scotty Miller caught. Always good to see the little guy Scotty Miller catching a pass in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is going to be the guy to watch next week with Tampa Green Bay is Leonard Fournette. If they can control Leonard Fournette and force Tom Brady to start throwing this ball, we're going to really see a shootout.
Yeah. Yeah, and the catch of the playoffs so far, Tyler Johnson, man, he had just the 1 catch for 15 yards. But that thing was the one where he was going one way, Brady kind of threw it behind him, and he just going down turns his body and catches the football. And I think it was a big first down pickup on that one. So yeah, I mean that was it was a fun one. I think the guy that showed out, Devin White, came out there and put on a show. If you didn't know the guy's name, you definitely know it now because he did. I mean, he did a little bit of everything. I mean, It was awesome. It was awesome to watch.
It was a good game, and I think you and I went 4 for 4 on our picks. I'm pretty sure.
Sure did. Sure did.
And now these are the 2 matchups that we were talking about last week. Where now we've got the future of the NFL with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes playing in the AFC Championship game, and we've got the 2 greats, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, playing in the NFC Championship game. And man, I was excited going into this weekend, but man, these championship games are going to be something to watch. And there's no telling who's going to win either one of these games. I mean, this is truly going to be some toss-up matches. If Mahomes plays and he's healthy, this is going to be probably one of the greatest championship rounds we've ever seen.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it has all the makings of. I mean, if you're the NFL, you're looking at it. You're just salivating at the matchups. You know, you have Brady, obviously. Brady Breeze or Brady, Aaron Rodgers. You have the up and coming guys. I mean, the guy that's there, the highest paid guy in your freaking league. And Patrick Mahomes, if he can get back, I really hope that he's 100%. Just because it has all the makings of what can be an instant classic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody can guard Stephon Diggs. I think he's going to go well over 100 yards again. I mean, it's just his year. I mean, the guy's going crazy. And I do think that the Chiefs, while we have said, hey, when healthy, they're unstoppable, but I think they have shown some, because Mahomes went out in the third quarter, and that game was still somewhat close. So it's not like he went out in the first quarter and then they kind of hung out and barely made it. He went out in the third quarter, and they hadn't put Cleveland away yet. So Buffalo, I think, has their offense tends to do a little bit better in there. I think that game has a real shot to be great. And then Brady going up to Lambeau Field. He's not afraid of the cold. I was talking to somebody today, and they kept saying, yeah, but he's got to go to the cold up there. And I said, do you forget Tom Brady freaking played in New England for 20 years? I mean, what the hell? I mean, he's definitely used to it, and it seems, if you look back at his track record in the cold, when it was really, really cold, especially when it was snowing, everybody thought, oh, yeah, they're definitely going to hand the ball off now. Hell, they would. No. I mean, they go out there with like they were playing in the summer. I mean, beautiful weather, birds chirping, and Tom Brady was slinging the crap out of the football. And he would just go all over the field, left and right. I mean, I think he had a game against the Bears where he had like 5 touchdown passes in the first half.
Yeah.
And it was one of those games where they were blowing out the lines every time out because you could barely see the field. I mean, and this guy was just slinging the rock everywhere. So I don't have any worries about Tom Brady going over there. As far as dealing with cold, the only worry that I would have is if Green Bay can rush him right up the gut, which tends to be his kryptonite. If you can get right up the gut with Tom Brady, a la the New York Giants and what they were doing to him, rush 4, get to him. Yep. That's when you have success. If not, forget it. I mean, he has way too many weapons. I don't know that Mike Evans is going to go for another 1-catch game. Like he did this weekend.
Or Gronk.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they went out there and they hung 30 on these guys with, some of their better players. Antonio Brown went 1 catch. Mike Evans 1 catch. Gronk 1 catch. I mean,
Scotty Miller.
Really? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just not it's not a lot of offense there, and they still hung 30. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
So Terry on the Bucks team. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I guess, but I don't know. I mean, we'll get to some predictions here as we move along.
Yeah, what do you got? Let's go.
Short,
Let's jump into this. Let's jump into AFC Championship games Sunday night, 6:40 p.m. on CBS, playing at Arrowhead Stadium. Now the point spread here is only 3 points. There's only 3 points they're projecting here, 54.5 total. Who do you got? Kansas City, Buffalo.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I am a Pats fan, and I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. I think they're just going, man. They're humming. That they are playing with a lot of confidence. They're going up to Arrowhead, like you said, but no big crowd. If this was last year or pre-COVID, I would probably go the other way with it. But that, to me, plays a big part in it. I mean, I know that those fans still get loud, and I know they try to, they juice it up on the TV, try to make it sound like it's really, really crazy in there. But the reality is that it's not. I think that they go in there. I think Stephon Diggs, like I said, he's going to have a big game. I just think that they have found the right buttons to push when it comes to Josh Allen, keeping him on schedule, the right amount of creativity, yet, the right amount of guiding him through games. And I think that they're going to pull it off. I like Bill's score of 28-24. I'm kind of right in line with that. I would say, 27-24, 28-24. What the hell? I'll go with Bill. 28-24 Buffalo going up to Chiefs Kingdom there and taking care of business.
Man, you got the Bills, huh? Well,
yeah.
This might be the one that separates us because I'm going with the Chiefs.
Okay.
If Mahomes plays, now I can't imagine him not playing. This game is way too important for the league. It's way too important for Kansas City. I'm going to take Kansas City in this one, and I gotta say I think it's going to come down to experience. I think Mahomes has been here before. He knows what he's got to do. Josh Allen, I can't say enough about how great he is. I think them not having Zach Moss might play a part in this. If they can control Stephon Diggs, it's really going to be interesting to see how Josh Allen can cope with that. But I'm going to stick with Mahomes. I've had him going to the Super Bowl since day one. I think with him and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, I just don't see them being stopped. But I agree with you. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be more of a 32-28 kind of game. But yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs on this one.
Okay. So
plus, I hate the Bills.
This whole lot.
I hate the Bills.
It's funny. I think I told you this in the past when I first started watching football ever as a young lad. I was rooting for the Bills. So yeah, I mean. What
Plus,
can I say?
We got Harrison Butker in Kansas City, man. Come on. Goat. But even if the Bills do win, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, okay? The Bills are not going to ever win a Super Bowl. They just can't.
Well,
they can't.
There's a reason why I'm picking the Bills too, and we're going to go full circle with that right now because we're going to pick the next game,
right.
And I am going to say that both of the road teams are going to win. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to take care of business, and they are going to the Super Bowl, my friend. The frozen tundra is not frozen enough for Tom Brady. He is going to be standing in the window of Bills Mafia, waving his hand, okay? Looking at him going, hello, guys. You remember me? Huh? And how great's that going to be? The Buffalo Bills finally circle the wagons, get to the Super Bowl, and there is Tommy Terrific waiting for them saying, hey, I might have been out of the AFC East, but I am still not out of your life. But I have Tampa going over there to Green Bay and taking care of business. I think that it's gonna be somewhat of a close game. I'm gonna go with a 24-20 Tampa victory, just because I don't think that Tampa will be able to hang the points on there quite as much as they did inside of the dome. But I think that their defense is coming together just at the right time. If Devin White can have another game like he had this weekend and run around, he's the perfect spy for a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I think they have enough firepower on that side of the football to hold them down a little bit and get themselves a victory.
Well, again, I think we're completely different on these projections because I'm taking Green Bay. Yes, Tampa has the number one rush defense in the league, but they did not
step out on the ledge. Get out there with me. Come on.
I'm on the ledge right now. Okay, Tampa had the number one rush defense, but they did not have the number one rush defense the last month of the season. I think that New Orleans wasn't really afraid to go at him with the run, and Aaron Jones is not your typical running back, and Aaron Rodgers is not your typical quarterback. He's going to be able to see things that other quarterbacks don't. Not to take anything away from Drew Brees, but I don't see this train slowing down. Aaron Rodgers is in the zone right now. This is going to be an amazing game. I think it's going to be around 35-42, somewhere around there. This is going to be a high-flying game. There's going to be a lot of passing, and man, I'm excited. But I want to see Aaron Rodgers and Patty Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers, Patty Mahomes, huh? I mean, hey, again, I just don't think that the NFL loses with any matchup that goes to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
With these four teams, the NFL is going. They're sitting there going, you know what? We did it. We freaking did it. This is it. I mean, we can sit back, we can relax. Don't worry about it, fellas. It'll everything will take care of itself. It doesn't matter right now. You know, that's a great matchup to see in there. I got the road teams winning, man. I'm gonna be
You're a
out there on the
Brady fan.
ledge.
Just admit it. You want to see
I am a
Brady in the
Brady
Super
fan.
Bowl.
I am a Brady fan, man, and I think Aaron Rodgers is playing out of his mind. But at the end of the day, I mean, the guy's got all the experience in the world. They're going up there. If nobody is betting on them, then hey, it's house money. It's the same thing with the Bills. They'll go over to Kansas City, and again, no fans. It's the same thing in Green Bay, limited fans. Those are the atmospheres that everybody talks about,
Yeah.
going there with the cold, and you don't have that this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think that they're going to be able to pull it off. If I have to, my confidence meter would be more a little bit higher on the Buffalo Bills beating the Chiefs, honestly, believe it or not, than the Bucs taking care of Green Bay. But I still hold to my picks. I say Buffalo and Tampa Bay, which makes, by the way, Tampa Bay the first team ever to host a Super Bowl if it happens.
Yeah. That would be cool to see. That would be cool to see.
It would be cool to see.
But I don't want that. I don't need that statistic to fulfill what I need. Okay, and you can argue that the Saints defense is better than the Packers defense. But you look at the last 5 games that the Packers played. They gave up 18 to the Rams. They gave up 16 to Chicago, 14 to Tennessee, 16 to Carolina, which isn't a big deal. 24 to Detroit. That's really the only one that kind of raised an eyebrow since Tampa blew them out 47-7. But you look at, I mean, if you're just looking at the defensive numbers and the teams they went up against, Green Bay statistically had a better defense the last 5 weeks of the season than Tampa did. They gave up less points, and they scored a little bit, maybe around the same amount of points.
Yeah, but Tampa was going through a little bit of some COVID issues on their side, and they had some injuries.
You got 7 wide receivers on your team that could possibly be in the Hall of Fame if they played the right way.
We're talking defense, man.
I don't want to hear about their defense.
Defense, all right, and
they're still running
Bill,
the Tampa 2 over there. Is that what they're doing?
Bill has my back. Defense wins championships unless you got Tom Brady, and then at that point you just win. I mean,
I play golf. There ain't no defense in golf, okay? You know what we're talking about here. Play against yourself. Man.
That's why your track record in golf may not be great.
That's why I have a 27 handicap. So you're taking the Bills and the Bucs, and I'm taking the Chiefs and the Packers.
That's right. That's right.
This is the winner of this one runs the podcast from now on. I think
this is it.
So we find out who knows what.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, Bill has the Bucs going there. Let us know what you guys think about the other game. The Chiefs and the Bills, because I mean, at the end of it, they're just, both of them can turn out to be great games.
PP's got the Chiefs and the Packers as well, so I'm Old Faithful. Anything PP Grande says, you gotta agree with it. Guy's been around since before football was invented.
Hey, he was before. Was he around before the what was it, the guarantee or whatever it was from what's his name from the Jets?
Joe Namath. Yeah, we're talking leather helmets back in the day. That's how old this guy is. And you know what's funny is we were watching the Packer game, and I tell you how boring that game was. Is I was sending you pictures. We were watching Australian Football League on TV. That's how boring the Packer game was. Is I was learning how to watch Australian League's football. It was awesome to watch.
And I also texted you, I was like, hey man, you watching this? And you're like, no, I turned over to ABC. I'm watching UFC. And I'm like, well,
we were watching the UFC fight. I mean, the Packer game was just like, this game's over. It's over. Let's find something else fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a game that everybody knew was going to be a good whooping. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of the weekend recap for us. I mean, I don't know that we were terribly excited about anything that happened. As far as like big plays or anything like that, anything out of the norm, other than Patrick Mahomes getting his bell rung, and the Michael Thomas thing without him going catchless. Other than that, I think it was nothing out of the ordinary.
Now, whoever the best teams won, and I think everybody had those games projected.
Yeah. So with that said, we'll move into just to button up on some things. We've kind of hit it a little bit on in the past with some coaching hires moving forward. the big one that everybody seemed to be all over was the Urban Meyer to the Jags. It
Yeah,
seemed
baby.
like they were negotiating that thing for ages. It seems like it sounds like it started in last year's Super Bowl. The owner of the Jags kind of saw um, Urban Meyer at the Super Bowl. I guess they started talking there just a little bit, and then sure enough, this past week they went ahead and signed it on that line and made it official. And Urban Meyer is the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, it was big news coming out. I mean, if you're from Florida, if you're a Jacksonville fan in any way, this is big news. Whether it's good news, we don't know. I think the biggest thing that Urban Meyer's gonna need to worry about is his health when it comes to losing games, because they are gonna still be losing games, and whether or not he can handle that. But I think they're not in a worse place than they were before. I think he's gonna bring some new elements. I think he's gonna get a nice young quarterback to kind of put his wing under, and we're gonna hopefully see some success come out of that. I still feel like these guys they get a couple pieces that are there, and they just kind of fall off. They got rid of Leonard Fournette. Blake Bortles was going to be the answer, and he was for one season. That kind of fell apart. When they drafted Michael Blackman, everybody thought he was going to be the next Jerry Rice. I don't even think he ever even played. So it's going to be interesting to see how Jacksonville and the discipline that Urban Meyer brings to the table, and see what happens with that.
Where do you stand on college coaches? And I know we talked a little bit about this in the past. Where do you stand on college coaches coming over to the NFL and what their projected success can or can't be?
Well, I think at the same time, I think it's like any job. I think if you get an opportunity and you're a low level manager and you get an opportunity to move up into the big leagues, um, you've got something to prove, and you either come in and you're like, we're going to make a big splash, let's make some moves, and it doesn't work out, and you disappear, or you stick with what you make some tweaks, and a lot of it I think comes down to game film and being able to prepare for players that are, when you coach college, you've got a few guys that are NFL ready, that have the speed, that have everything else. When you go into the NFL, everybody's the same. All the offensive linemen are running, 4.9 40s. All the wide
Mm-hmm.
receivers are 6'6". These guys are running crazy speed, and the game is faster. And I think he's got to be able to see that and allow things to open up. And I think that's gonna really really affect the draft picks that they have this year.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, the way I see it and some of the things that I've heard coming out of that camp that I'm glad to hear um, is the fact that he is, because so many coaches have come into the NFL from the college ranks and have failed.
Hmm.
The biggest one that stands out to me because of his success, obviously in the college level, is Nick Saban. Nick Saban
Yeah.
went to the Dolphins and he sucked. Went over to went over.
For lack of a better term.
Why do we need to
Yeah,
sugarcoat it? I
no, he
mean, if
did.
you
He
suck, you
sucked.
suck.
He sucked.
So he went back over to the college ranks, and he went and got himself a big bad Alabama team, and now he's whooping up on everybody year in and year out, and it works for him. But I think the reason that it doesn't work sometimes for these guys is because they do forget, that one, you're not in college, and you can't be talking to grown ass men like you're talking to,
Hmm.
an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. Um, what I like about Urban Meyer that I've heard again from that side is that he's saying, I want to distribute some of this responsibility with some of the guys that I'm bringing in, and he's trying to create a staff that will have some of that power to get in to the guy's face and to do their part. He's not. It doesn't seem to me like he's trying to run it like a college atmosphere, which
Hmm.
is my big concern all the time with these coaches coming in. Um, he's trying to go more with that CEO mentality,
Right.
and I tend to like that a little bit more. I haven't been the biggest Urban Meyer fan, um, throughout his career. I thought that he wasn't a great coach when he was at UF. I thought that the moment he saw that he was going to lose his quarterback, all of a sudden he needed to go on some hiatus, and off he went, and he was out for a year. Ends up in Ohio State, loses his quarterback there again after winning a little bit for a couple of years, and all of a sudden I have issues again and I have to go.
Right.
So, like to your point, they're going to lose a couple of games. Is he going to want to go on another hiatus because now he can't win? I mean,
Right.
or is he going to stick it through? You have to be able to see this thing long term. Um, but I like what I'm hearing in the sense that, hey, I'll bring in some NFL guys to be my coordinators, let them do their thing. I'm here just to kind of be the CEO of this whole operation, put guys in the right spots. And this, I've said it in the past, I'm a big fan of coaches doing that.
Yeah.
Um, you know, you have to me, the most underpaid and undervalued guys are the coordinators, in the sense that all these coordinators do great on a team and then they want to go and become a head coach. Start paying these guys a ton of money, like if they are the
Right.
head coach of the team, and say, hey, just stay on the offense. You're the offensive coordinator. You know what? Let's run this thing back every year for 20 years. You know what I mean? 30 years. I guess, there is the pride thing. I think you made mention of that a couple weeks ago when we were talking about it. The pride thing about, hey, I have the head coach tag under my name. But I mean, winning's winning. I mean, I don't know. If you're getting paid and you're winning and everybody knows that you're a big part of it, why should it make a difference?
Yeah.
But it seems like Urban Meyer is going to be doing that this year, moving into Jacksonville. He's going to allow those coordinators to have a little bit more say. That's just from what I've been hearing and from what I've been reading. We have a couple of guys from Jacksonville that we have on Twitter that provide some good information. So, they've been up front there, and I've heard some of the interviews with him. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and I think the big news with Jacksonville, and the reason we're talking about this is because it's Urban Meyer. At the end of the day, Jacksonville is still going to be irrelevant in the league. They are not going to matter. It doesn't matter who you draft or what. Next year is not going to be the year that they just magically turn things around. I think the bigger news is somebody like Brandon Staley, moving to the Chargers. Bringing in a defensive coordinator who is now going to be leading the pack with one of the rising stars in Justin Herbert, and seeing how that works, because they've got, you look at the Chargers team, they've got some older pieces on their team. They've got some veterans that are on their way out, and those are going to be some big hits. When they lose Keenan Allen, I think they're going to have to assess the wide receiver situation for Herbert. And I mean, replacing Anthony Lynn, say what you want about Anthony Lynn, but Brandon Staley coming in and having the number one ranked defense. Granted, when you've got Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on your team, you ought to be number one. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Chargers defense reacts with this new fresh blood coming. They got to be excited about it. I mean, that's all you can say.
Yeah, and you know what? For him, it's a move where he doesn't have to go very far. I mean, though they play in the same stadium, the Chargers and
I think so,
and the Rams. So
I don't
mean,
think he has to move.
No, he's just going from instead of walking in through the one entrance in the stadium, he'll walk in on the backside.
Practice on Wednesdays now instead of Tuesdays. It's perfect.
Yeah. So really, I mean, it's a good move for him. It's a good hire for them, I guess. But like you said, you hit on a really good point there. Everybody goes out there and they're like, oh yeah, this is the hottest guy, the hottest coordinator. Again, if you're the coordinator, stick with what you have. You're leaving Aaron Donald. You're leaving, defensive player of the year. You're leaving, I can say what I want. I'm not a big Ramsey fan, but you have a good shutdown cornerback there on the third level of your defense. And what do you really have with the Chargers? So you're going to go out there, and now not only are you having to try to duplicate what you did with that defense, with a defense that doesn't have the talent on that team.
Yeah.
And now you're having to make sure that you run the offense as well. So then, 2 years from now, he's going to suck. We're going to look at it and people are going to be like, oh, what the hell? This guy was supposed to be the next guy, blah, blah, blah. No, he left a great situation for, a not so great situation. I wish him all the best, but
I don't know, man. I gotta see. This is where I think you and I kind of disagree, because I mean, you look at what the Chargers did this year with Anthony Lynn, and I honestly think, for one, I think Brandon Staley. Obviously, anytime you get an option to go from being a coordinator to a head coach, you have to take that position, because one, it's stability. I get it, it's the money, but at the same time, this is why they coach. You don't become a coach and be like, man, I can't wait to be a defensive coordinator for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be that guy. You want to be the guy that the chips, when you lose, it's your fault. When you win, it's because they did what they were supposed to do.
I don't know.
And I think the Chargers are going to be better with Brandon Staley than they are with Anthony Lynn. Maybe not next year, but I think they're going to be better in the long run.
Well, I mean, I guess there's value in a new voice and a new kind of outlook on things. But by the same token, look at Dick LeBeau for years and years and years until he retired. He was just a coordinator, and he was a great coordinator. And everybody knows he'll go into the Hall of Fame as a great coordinator. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm glad these guys are getting their opportunity.
You don't get remembered when you're a coordinator. Nobody cares. Your legacy is not there. You're the only person at this side of the Mississippi who knows who Dick LeBeau was and how long he coached. Nobody cares about Dick LeBeau.
I guess. But okay, fine. It was a good hire. I think they're really kind of, other than Urban Meyer, the one that stuck out to me that's kind of like, we'll see how this thing pans out, man. But, is Robert Saleh going from the 49ers defensive coordinator to being the head coach of the Jets? That's got...
I don't care how much money you pay me. I'm not going to be the head coach of the Jets.
Hey, man, he's going in there. It's for everything that I've seen, he seems to be the real fiery dude. He's kind of got that Jason Taylor look to him.
He's wiry.
And everybody seems to love him. He's been a hot commodity for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And finally, he's getting his shot. I'm a little surprised that they selected him, to be honest with you. I thought they were going to make a little bit more of a splash. But I think it's a good hire, though.
Yeah, they got it. Somebody's got to hire Bieniemy. And I am imploring the NFL, please, somebody hire him as a head coach. Because
why?
Tell me why. He's the only one in my book that deserves it. Okay. He's. I get it. He doesn't call a lot of the plays in Kansas City, but the leadership quality, he's there. Okay. I honestly think he's just really shitty at interviews. I think that's the only reason he doesn't have a head coaching.
Tim, break it down. The reason he's not getting it is
because he's black.
Well, no.
Oh,
no. You know what? I wasn't gonna go there because I don't think that's what it is. At the end of the day, again, he's leading a freaking. He's driving around he's got a Ferrari and he's gonna go take a jalopy. Why? You have Patrick Mahomes, you have Tyreek Hill, you have Travis Kelce, you have 100 running backs. For crying out loud, why do you want to leave that?
Because you don't want to manage a Papa John's forever when you can own a Pizza Hut. Okay, I get it. Papa John's is better. Better ingredients, better pizza. But if you can own a Pizza Hut...
Is that your hashtag Sideliners opinion?
No, it should be, though.
Oh, my God. At the end of the day, that's a perfect example of what I'm saying happens with these coordinators.
Yeah.
They where they have all great players, and then he'll go coach the Lions. You know what I mean? And it's like, hey, look at what he was doing with Patrick Mahomes. What's he gonna come do over here with Matthew Stafford? Matthew Stafford ain't Patrick Mahomes.
I agree.
I love T.J. Hawkinson. I brought him up in our fantasy football draft, and everybody clowned me.
Yeah,
he's pretty good, but he's no Travis Kelce.
That's true.
You don't have Megatron there. You know what I mean? To be your Tyreek Hill, or you don't have a speedy guy like Tyreek Hill.
He doesn't have to go to Detroit. He can go to Philly. Because they fired Doug Peterson. Thank God. Oh, he could go to Houston. I don't know, man. Listen, the options are there.
Hey, Pete Grande, why take a promotion? He says that's just dumb. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, you take the promotion if it's a good promotion, all right? Don't throw me to the crappy job just because nobody else wants it and say, hey, man, I'm giving you a promotion, And
a lot of money.
Don't listen, that's pay the freaking guys, man. If I'm Andy Reid, I'm going to my owner going, I need to pay this guy. We need to keep him, okay?
We're going to lose him. We're going to lose him.
I don't know, man. I'm going to drive myself crazy with this stuff because you see it time and time again, and then they end up being a coordinator again after they get fired after a year and a half of sucking, and then they go back and people are like, "Man, but the
Jason
guy's
Garrett.
just such a great coordinator. He's such a great." Well, yeah, he should have stayed a coordinator to begin with.
Jason Garrett.
Ugh, whatever. Well, yeah, Jason Garrett.
Well, the good thing is, at the end of the day, the Atlanta Falcons are not getting any better with their head coaching positions. I don't care who they bring in at head coach in Atlanta. This team is not going to change the way that they do things. I think Matty Ice, to me, he's that guy where you want him to be elite, and he's always right there, and then it's just kind of like meh. It's just something with Atlanta. I don't know what it is. They've got all the pieces. They just can't get the pieces moving in the right direction.
3 words with Atlanta. 3 words that absolutely crushed. Actually, 2 words. 2 words that absolutely crushed Atlanta. Ripped their souls out, tossed that thing in the garbage, and said, "No mas." Tom Brady. 28-3, Papi. 28-3. After that, forget about it. Gutless, heartless, soulless. They are shells of themselves, and they have not been able to recover. I mean, I'm sorry. And I love Matt Ryan. I mean, I told you, hey, package Julio Jones and Matt Ryan and send them to New England. I'd take that every day and twice on Sundays. But, you know, in Atlanta, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. And you know what? This is probably the unsexiest hire, Arthur Smith. Does anybody know who the freak Arthur Smith is?
He was the offensive
Nobody knows
coordinator for the Titans.
Nobody knew who the hell he was when he was there, before he was there, or what he did. But you know what? Those are the names that end up working out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are the ones that people go, who the hell was he before? And then you're going, but man, they got Atlanta now at, 11-5 and, vying for a playoff spot. I mean, again, I like you said, I think they're a shell themselves. They just can't seem to right the ship. I mean, they do have some young pieces. Calvin Ridley is a young stud there. If they decided to move away from Julio Jones, which just can't seem to stay on the field, he's a guy to build around. But yeah, an unsexy pick there. Arthur Smith is probably going to be the coach that ends up, rocking it out and doing his thing.
Yeah, coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. So there's still a couple higher, teams that are still looking for coaches. The Eagles fired Peterson, which I guess was a surprise, not surprise. What the heck? I mean, they're a mess, and that happened fast. That was like a dumpster fire quick. The Lions are still looking for a head coach, and the Texans are still looking for a head coach. They were the only team that did not interview your guy Eric Bieniemy until today. They went ahead and did a little Zoom call and took care of business there. They try to, they tried to pacify the situation with Watson, and they said, all right, we'll call him.
Yeah.
Look, we're FaceTiming him now,
just to keep Deshaun Watson there. I mean, but at the same time, do you go in the position that your quarterback is saying, this is who we want, and if you don't do it, I want to be traded? Do you give your quarterback that kind of power when he is that good of a quarterback?
Well, here's the deal. You have to make the best decision that you feel, for your team. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, I mean, they're not going to fire Deshaun Watson. You know what I mean? So even if he's bitching and whining about wanting a guy coming in and they bring him in, yeah, I mean, that's probably why. But hey, on Zoom, all you need to own is a shirt and a jacket, bro. That's all they see. You could be in your underwear for all they care.
But I mean, and I think, like you said, I think a lot of the guys that are going out there, interviewing, like Philly's going after offensive coordinators. Mm-hmm. They're going after the inside linebacker coach for the Patriots with Gerard Mayo. Some of these
two coordinators for the Patriots that they're trying to interview McDaniels and Gerard Mayo.
And it's going to be interesting because they're going to hire one of these guys. It's not like they're going to, you don't interview 6 or 7 guys and then they're like, oh, we hired the special teams coach from North Dakota State. Like it's normally going to be one of these guys that they're kind of leaning on. And if you had to pick which team would you want to go to? If it was Philly, Detroit, or Houston, right now, you're interviewing as a head coach, and you can have any job you want of those three.
I mean, the team I think that's better positioned more than anything is going to end up being the Texans because of the young quarterback there. I mean, second in line, I would go with the Lions because Stafford, I just think he hasn't had great coaching and been put in an opportunity to succeed. But obviously, it's the Texans just because, like I said, the young quarterback, you have him there. And now they do need some help at wide receiver. They don't have much for a running game. But you have the position that you need. Yeah, but you still have the position that the most important position in sports is a quarterback, and you have that taken care of already. As much as you want to say Jalen Hurts and what's his name, Carson Wentz and the Eagles, when you have two quarterbacks, guess what you don't have? A quarterback, right? Because I mean, at the end of the day, that's true. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford has been good. And the guy's a freaking gamer. I mean, he's playing, I think, with every single injury out there. He just hasn't had the kind of the luck to get over the hump,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I would go with the Texans. You know what I mean? If I had to choose one. But that being said, it's during my Zoom call, I have to make it very clear to them: is Deshaun Watson staying? Because if he's not, guess what? I'm not doing. I'm going to go ahead and hit end call right now. Because there's nothing to talk
stay an
about
offensive coordinator.
yeah, they're paying me. So, I mean, whatever, man. It's we'll see what happens there. Those are the three openings that are still available.
Yeah.
We'll see what these new coaches do. Next year on Black Monday, right after the season's over, we'll have another 6 or 7 coaching hires, and maybe Urban Meyer will be going on another hiatus after that. We'll see.
And Deshaun Watson, I mean, he's saying now purportedly that he'd be interested in going to Miami or New England. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
I'd take him in New England. I would take him in New England. What's funny is for all of you Miami Dolphin fans, we love to rebuild around Tua. Yay!
So Deshaun Watson's available.
Hey, Deshaun Watson's available. Let's trade for Deshaun Watson. Tua sucks. Come on now.
Send Tua and Fitzpatrick to Houston.
Yeah, it's deal. Like. Yeah, right. Hey, we'll give you our starter and our bullpen guy. How about that?
They're interchangeable. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Oh, golly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, we'll see what happens there. Next week is going to be fun to watch. Nice matchups. Sunday. It's kind of bittersweet because we are excited to watch these matchups, but it also means that we're that much closer to the end of football.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's gonna
8 more months to the fantasy draft.
And I'll throw this out there: breaking news right now. The Ravens just released Mark Ingram. Yeah, he's available.
That's like getting rid of Devontae Freeman right now.
No hype man for.
I tell you what though, Mark Ingram is a great guy. I've played Call of Duty with him a couple times. Super awesome guy. I mean, he's very down to earth, and he's got that kind of country accent to go with it, but yeah.
Unlike your humble brag just there.
Yeah, not to toot my own horn, but yeah, I know a couple guys, so it was.
I mean, he's no Juju, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, me and Juju, we're way farther down the friend line, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, Juju, I did talk to him after the game, the night after the game, and he was in good spirits. He's I think he's really excited about being a free agent. I think he's this is going to be his opportunity to see some of the options he has. But yeah, he was quick to kind of point out some of the flaws. But it was kind of an overall statement. It wasn't anybody in particular. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Was this a just a you two conversation, or was there other people on this line?
I mean, there was a couple other people, but it was me and him having a conversation. I actually dropped one of your lines on him because he was kind of complaining that Cleveland had a special teams coach that was running their team essentially, And I said, a lot of special teams coaches have gone on to be great head coaches, and he goes, you know what, you're right.
Shit, man, you didn't tell him that it came from me. Just asked my buddy Ricky D, the co-host of the greatest podcast in the world, Sideline Sport Talk, which you need to be on, bro. You know?
Yeah, he's pumped, man. He was, I saw him playing. He was running some Fortnite on Twitch the other day, and he was, his stream title was that he was a free agent, and every game he was playing in a different NFL uniform. So it was kind of cool to see Juju, as running as a bear and as a Packer, and it was but yeah, it's
a Patriot. Get him in a Patriot.
It's gonna be interesting, and that's going to be one of the big free agent pools that I'm interested in seeing if Pittsburgh's gonna make the offer to keep him or if he's gonna move on.
Well, as a free agent, that means that we can sign him to the third man here with the Sideline Sport Talk. Podcast. So we have
got a spot here.
We have room right there in the center on the bottom portion right there of our screen to add him on. So let's work on getting him on there.
So you're talking about maybe making a Romo move where we kind of offer him more money to be a podcaster than to actually be an NFL wide receiver. Get some sponsors going.
Hey, anybody out there that wants to sponsor us, definitely hit us up.
Juju money.
Yeah, we
need some ramen noodles, money. But Juju's on the podcast.
Yeah, right. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do there. But
well, I think we touched on everything. Now we've got the fun part of the night.
The fun part of the day. Hashtag Sideliner's opinion. I screwed that up. Holy crap! I screwed that up.
That's your hashtag. So.
Hashtag Sideliner's opinion. We asked you guys to think about it a little bit during the week. We started it last week. You said that you have a doozy. You did not want to tell me when we were pre-gaming what it was. You were going to save it for me. I'm going to throw mine out there because I gave it to you.
Okay. Well, if you guys if anybody has an opinion of your own, it can be about anything. Throw it out there. Hashtag Sideliner's opinion. We are open in the chat to discuss.
Boom. And mine is going to be hashtag Sideliner's opinion. LeBron James is overrated. My opinion, you can kill me if you want. All right? I mean, the guy is just, to me, he is a great, great athlete that chose to play basketball. If you wanted to put the pads on and play for the Cleveland freaking Browns, and Njoku would not have a career because Tom Brady would be catching balls, or LeBron James would be catching balls left and right.
I do like that you put Tom Brady and LeBron James in the same sentence.
Slipped out. I think he's just a great, great athlete that decided to play basketball. I think he's the type of guy that can play any sport and play it at a high level, but because of the athleticism that's there. You know what I mean? It's just there's guys out there that are freak athletes. And he just, over the years, he's taught himself how to play the game, and he's done well. I am a huge, huge LeBron James fan off the court because he does do a hell of a lot of things. And the one thing that I admire the most about LeBron James is that with all his status and everything is overhyped and that I think he is on the basketball court, you just don't hear a lot about LeBron James getting in trouble outside of the basketball court, which is great. He's done a great thing with the school out there in Cleveland. This was, I believe, the first year now that he went ahead and followed through with his promise. No pun intended there with the school. But he did send some kids to college, so that graduated. So kudos to him for that. But you are overrated, my friend, as a basketball player.
That's tough, man. I mean, from a statistics standpoint, how do you justify that?
Well, statistics only matter when they make your point. When they don't make your point, you can throw them out the window. So that's my thing. I
mean, PP's over here saying Tom Brady has only won 2 legitimate championships in his opinion.
I mean, no way.
His kicker won him a couple Super Bowls. I will say that.
But who took the ball down the field to put the kicker? He gave the kicker an opportunity to kick a game-winning field goal. How about that? Adam Vinatieri would be nothing without Tom Brady getting the ball to the 45 for him to kick a field goal.
45 to kick a 63-yarder for the win.
I mean, hey, you're a professional kicker. You should be able to do that.
That's what you get paid for.
That's right. I'm not going to pat you on the back for doing your job.
But
bro.
You know what? That's his opinion. That's his opinion, and I respect it. So I've got mine, and this is the one.
Sideliner's opinion.
Hashtag Sideliner's opinion. If Dwight Howard had stayed in Orlando, he would go down as one of the greatest centers in NBA history. In NBA history.
We need to get a bell. Hey, hold on. Let me make a note of this. We need a bell for the next one because I am going to go ding for you on this one, my friend, because I agree with that 110%.
I mean, this guy averaged around 19 points, 13 rebounds, 2 blocks a game in Orlando. He averaged that over 8 seasons. And I mean, there were games because we used to watch these games together. I mean, you're talking, he was stacking 25, 26 rebounds in some of these games. And I mean, was just on another level. And he had an entire city backing him. He owned Orlando. This guy would have gone down. I mean, this guy was the Aaron Rodgers of, if you will, of Orlando. Like the way Aaron Rodgers runs Green Bay, that was Dwight Howard in Orlando. And if he had stayed, yes, 100%, he would not only be going into the Hall of Fame already, but he would probably have some statistics. I mean, breaking some records, some rebound records.
Yeah. I was a huge Dwight Howard fan when he was here in Orlando. It was one of the very few times that Orlando actually provided players for a superstar to play with.
Yeah.
I thought they made a mistake going into the NBA Finals and bringing Jameer in when they did. I thought they should have stuck with their starting 5, used Jameer off the bench. But I like that. Hashtag Sideliner's opinion. Dwight Howard would be a Hall of Famer if he stayed in Orlando. So you don't think he's a Hall of Famer now, huh?
Definitely not. He gave it up, and for what though? You know what I mean? Like, what did he really gain in LA when he left?
Yeah.
You know, he didn't do anything. He jumped around, went to Houston for a while. I think he's back in LA now, non-existent. And he changed his hair. He grew his hair out all weird. Started wearing a headband.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you go from being Superman. You're Superman, bro. You are Superman. Yeah. And you leave to try and basically become Shaq is what he tried to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you did a really crappy job of it. Yeah, really crappy job.
We had Carlos Arroyo. Come on, man.
You had Skip to My Lou, bro. Yeah,
Skip to My Lou was on your team.
Sakes, who can say? I mean, Skip to My Lou.
How many and-one basketball players have ever played in the league? I don't think very many.
You had an and-one guy. You had a Puerto Rican fella. I mean,
we had a 6'10" shooting guard on our team. I mean, come on.
Unbelievable. I like that though. I like that because I do tend to agree with that. I think if he would have stayed here, now I will say, they were facing a tough money situation coming down there because they did go all in. I think Otis Smith panicked and made all kinds of crazy, stupid moves, trying to bring Vince Carter in. It was just a freaking cluster at the end.
You keep the face of the organization, man.
Come on. Man. A young guy too. But hey, it's sad. It is sad. I had dinner with that fella one time at with the whole Orlando Magic team when he was a rookie with him, Jameer Nelson, Grant Hill, the Orlando Magic black tie and tennies gala. I was invited to that and had the opportunity to partake in that. Took some pictures, and kid was like 18 years old and was like 5 feet taller than me, which is, it was unbelievable, crazy.
Yeah.
And Jameer Nelson was 5 feet shorter than me. So, it was just a great night overall. I got to hang out with Grant Hill and his lovely wife, and so all on their dime, which was fantastic.
That's even better. Yeah, food always tastes better when it's free.
Absolutely. Hashtag Sideliner's opinion. Eli Manning is the real GOAT, says Pipi Grande. Oh, he hates the Patriots. I can tell. It is what it is.
You can argue that. I get it. He beat. Here's the thing. If Tom Brady is the GOAT, Eli Manning is the shepherd. You know what I'm saying? The guy does not lose to Tom Brady. I don't know.
It's unbelievable. He can't beat anybody else, but he can beat the New England Patriots thanks to the defense. It is what it is. I can't say much about that. He ruined a perfectly perfect season. Just absolutely ruined it. But whatever, man. Whatever. He's not even the best Manning. I mean, how can
Yeah.
he be the GOAT for crying out loud? You know what I
Well,
mean?
it's numbers talk though. I mean, how many rings?
Only when they
How
make
many
your point.
how many rings are we talking? I mean, do they each got 2 rings? I think.
Yeah, they do,
So
right?
are we
They
talking
do.
Super Bowls? Or are we talking statistics? Because that's
Yeah.
that's how you kind of determine a lot of these arguments is who has the
Yeah.
most championships. Because if that's the
Yeah,
case,
because
Bill
the
Russell's
other
the best
Manning,
basketball player.
hey, that nobody really wants to talk about.
No respect.
What's the other Manning has two, like you said, one that he was carried to, and
Yeah.
then he did lose one down in South Florida to a player that potentially played his last game yesterday. Look at me segmenting the crap out of that right into it.
That was solid.
Drew Brees. Drew Brees. Are we done seeing Drew Brees? I mean, is he done? Is that the last game? The last time we saw Drew Brees on an NFL football field as a quarterback?
It certainly looked like it. I mean, the way he was going off the field and kind of taking that last look back as he was walking in, um, man, it was kind of bittersweet. And then the meeting him and Brady had on the field after the game with
How cool is that?
that was, I mean, that's what it's all about right there. I mean, for to be Drew Brees' kids, you know what I mean, and your dad be a living legend, and they're like, hey, can we go play football with Tom Brady? Like, come on, dude, I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine even
yeah,
having an opportunity to say that. And
yeah. To say I caught a touchdown pass, like a real touchdown pass,
yeah,
because he was in the end zone, in the
yeah,
corner
and I mean, it's just a
of the end zone, and he caught a touchdown pass from Tom Brady. That was pretty freaking cool.
it's a bittersweet moment, like you said. I think because where do the Saints go from here if Drew Brees does retire? I mean, what does he have left to prove? And
Jameis
that's the thing.
Winston, bro. Jameis Winston.
Hey,
Eat it up.
guy had 158 QBR yesterday. You got to respect that, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It is bittersweet to watch. And his reaction kind of says that it may end up being the last game that he plays. Which sucks. I think they're facing a lot of questions. Michael Thomas not catching a ball yesterday, while surprising, was kind of not surprising in the same breath, because he had a lot of troubles this year, and he was healthy at one point, and they didn't bring him back a week
Yeah.
when he was healthy, because he had some issues in practice and he was fighting, and I mean, whatever. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but they have some stuff that they have to work through over there. Not only just finding a quarterback, they're going to have to find, I think, some help. Kamara did, he is what he is, but I mean, if you have no quarterback, and you have no threats down the field in the wide receiver area, Kamara is going to get stopped here, and you'll see his numbers start declining. But Drew Brees, definitely Hall of Famer, first ballot for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he brought things to the league. I think he brought things to New Orleans. There was a lot going on when the Hurricanes went through there and everything. And I think actually Pipi Grande was living there at the time when all that was going down, and he was forced to move to Florida. And I think New Orleans needed kind of a beacon, and I think that was what the Saints brought, and I think Drew Brees led that the whole way. Um, but yeah, definitely first ballot. I mean, I don't see who else would be over him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there are certain guys that can retire that you almost don't need that whole 5 year out of the league thing. You can just say, "Hey, fine, you're retired
Yeah.
today. We're just going to go ahead and put you in there this year," because,
Yep.
and I think he's one of them. I think overall, if you are looking for like the prototypical or the perfect guy to mold, you want to say, "Hey, yeah, kids, look at a guy and this is what you want to be as a football player and as a person," without piling it on here too much, but I think Drew Brees is one of those guys for sure.
Yeah.
He's always got the right thing to say. He's got a great mentality. Obviously he looks like he's a family dude. And he was a hell of a football player, but I do agree with Nitty here saying that he can't throw the ball down the field. I think there's a reason that you saw that play happen with Jameis Winston coming into the game to run that play, because he can't throw the ball down the field anymore. It's sad to see that, but he can't throw the football down the field.
Well, he's 100 years old.
He made a throw yesterday, I think it was to Emmanuel Sanders on the sideline, that I felt like it took forever. It was one of those, deep throws to the sidelines that, you always fear that it's going to be a pick six going the other way.
Right.
I felt like the ball took ages to get there. I'm like, holy crap, is that thing ever gonna go? I mean, it just seemed like it was in the air forever.
Well, I think you got to remember too, though. He had like 12 cracked ribs and a punctured lung. He broke his clavicle, dislocated his shoulder. I mean, that happened like 5 weeks ago. So I mean, I give him a little bit of leeway about not being able to throw. So
yeah. He Bill says he's younger than Brady. Yeah, but he probably drinks beer and does some of the things that
he lives in New Orleans. Come on, man.
yeah. Brady just he just doesn't enjoy life. He doesn't eat.
Brady lives in a hyperbaric chamber.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little different. You know what I mean? Yeah. When you're the greatest living American, you know what I mean, and you're that guy, it's just things are a little different.
He's like death becomes her. He's drinking that potion that keeps you young forever.
Yeah. I mean, it's just. Come on, but it is sad to see him go. I guess he's already signed on with CBS to do some TV stuff.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Shoot, I mean, CBS is like quickly stacking up on like great talent. If he's anything like Tony Romo,
I don't know about that, man. But let's don't start stealing my guy here, okay? Tony Romo will go down as the greatest sportscaster in history. Okay.
Hey, Sideliner's opinion. Tony Romo, 150 times better analyst than quarterback.
You know what? 150 times? Ooh.
Absolutely. The guy is
I wish he could have been able to predict the plays that he does when he's sportscasting when he was the quarterback.
It's like, you see it happening now. Why didn't you see that happening when you were throwing that pick?
He didn't have the sky cam looking down.
Yeah, he didn't have a guy next to him like drawing it up and saying, "Here, say this. Look, this is gonna happen now."
Yeah, he's listening to the plays being called.
yeah. It's just, but yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. The Drew Brees thing is sad. I mean, the only thing that I can say about him, he's missing, I think, maybe a little bit more of the championships. And on top of that, the numbers. But like we threw out earlier when we talked about the stat. I mean, only 9 career playoff wins.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time to play football to only have 9 career playoff wins.
But he got a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he does have a Super Bowl and a hell of a Super Bowl too, an instant classic, man. He did beat, like I said, the other Manning. So
nobody gives any credit to Cooper Manning, by the way, and I feel like Cooper Manning, the third Manning brother, nobody ever really recognizes this guy. Okay.
The hell does he do with his life?
He's worth $15 million, first off, and his son is on the path to become the next NFL Manning. Okay, Arch Manning, he's a sophomore in high school right now, blowing
that
up
works
the
against
stat
you
sheets.
Though. That works against you, Timmy. When your son, all right. So my brothers are NFL greats. My dad is an NFL great. Not me, but my son is going to be an NFL great.
This guy had some kind of issue where he started losing feeling in his arms. He couldn't control his arms. I mean, that's nothing he can control. We're talking this. I mean, the mind is there and the body's not there. You see it too often.
I don't know. So you're telling me he had the whole Markel Fultz Jurassic Park syndrome thing that he had going on? I don't know. That sounds like it's something that's made up because he couldn't throw the ball.
I mean, it wasn't like an Inky Johnson injury where he tackled a guy and he just lost feeling in his whole arm. But
So yeah, I mean that's we ran it down, man. We ran through all of it. We talked some coaches. Really going to talk a lot about the NBA just because we're in the stinker right now. Our Magic are sucking it up. I know in the rundown said we were going to talk a little bit about some NBA stuff, but really, I mean, I guess we can hit on some of the things. I do want to say this about the NBA. There's a person in the NBA that has a secret that a lot of people out there want, and he is like leaving money on the table every single passing day. And that person, my friend,
Lopez.
No, it's James Harden. James Harden weighed like 400 pounds one day and was like a model the next day. I mean, what the heck was that?
He probably got an enema, just cleaned his whole system out, That's my guess. They're actually winning right now. They're playing Milwaukee. They're up 110-107 with 5 minutes left, and old Jimmy Harden's got 30 points tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he had a line against the Magic. He had a terrible first, not a terrible first half. He just didn't have a lot of points in the first half, but and then he went off on them in the second half. It was a close game. That Magic had a shot down the stretch, but Markelle Fultz going down is absolutely killing them. I think they're now 7 games in a row that they've lost. Had one game that was canceled because of COVID.
They lost tonight.
Yeah, they lost today to the Knicks. Which when you're losing to the Knicks, then I don't know, maybe it's tanking time. I don't know.
I mean, they got RJ Barrett. I'll give it to them. I mean, they at least have one guy on their team that's worth something.
That's the only guy that you can say. All right,
Elfrid Payton. Come on, you were an Elfrid Payton fan when he was in Orlando. Now all of a sudden he's the worst guard ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good. They have a lot of injuries though. You know, I'm not a big.
Oh, did we lose you?
Oh, I'm here.
Yep,
you got me.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're a little dinged up, you know, with Evan Fournier being out. They still have Michael Carter Williams. I think would have been a guy that could have helped replace Markelle Fultz a little bit, but you know he's still banged up. So We'll see. It's still early on in the season. You know, there's still just a couple games under 500 in the East, where after the midpoint of it, first 4 or 5 teams. After that, who the hell knows what'll happen?
Well, I think you're right. I think Orlando just doesn't have. They don't have the team there. I mean, you know, tonight, you know, to Orlando's, you know, defense. I mean, Aaron Gordon and Vooch combining for 42 points and 31 rebounds is awesome. But literally, the only 2 guys that did anything tonight, and you can't. You know, you've got to have some kind of help. You got to get some other guys in double-digit scoring, or at least getting, you know, grabbing some rebies, doing something, some steals.
Yeah.
But
they're wasting Vucevic. They really are. I mean, this guy goes out there and just tears it up, bro.
Shareef Abdur-Rahim, the Atlanta Falcons, or the Atlanta Hawks great. PP Grande.
Yeah.
Man, that is a name that will live on in infamy in the NBA if you are an actual basketball fan. Shareef Abdur-Rahim.
Not to be a downer, but didn't he die like in a car accident or something a couple years ago?
I think he's still alive.
Oh, okay. All right.
I hope he's still alive. What a loss for this country.
I don't know. I may be mixed up.
Yeah,
I'm
still
sure
alive.
I am.
He's still alive. Confirmed.
Okay, good.
He's still alive. Age
Sorry.
44.
Sorry, Shareef.
Yeah. Lives in Marietta, Georgia.
Holy cow. Let's edit that part out. Holy crap, man.
I mean, we don't get to talk about Shareef Abdur-Rahim too much. But again, I think this is PP Grande showing his age. And the fact that I was able to pull that name out of my head and what team he played for just goes to show you I'm getting up there.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is, my man. It is what it is. So I think that's it, man, for us. I think that's gonna do it. You know, we covered some cool stuff there with the NFL. Hashtag Sideliners Opinion. Guys, give it a thought. You know, next week, let's come with it. Let us know what you guys think on that. And like I said, it doesn't have to be just sports. It can be anything in the world of entertainment or whatever it is. I don't care what it is. But we just want to make it fun, interactive with everybody, and get everybody involved. And so yeah, I mean, that's it, man. We hit the rundown. We're done.
Yeah, as always, guys, thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you, Bill and PP, for hanging out. Nitty coming in the chat. It was a good time, man. We covered a lot of stuff, and I think, you know, if you guys like the way stuff's going, like I said, hashtag Sideliners Opinion on Twitter, guys. Let us know what you think. We'll get it into the show and get you guys some recognition for that. But until then, we will see you guys next time on the sideline.
Peace.